Yo, yo, what's going on? It's your boy, Mr. Locario, the bad boy of the dating game. What's good? So I got an email from a subscriber. I'm going to read this and we're going to get into this. All right. So it says, "Hey, Mr. Locario, I am a great looking guy with a great personality. I took your advice with approaching a lot of women. However, I have high standards in terms of looks for women. Not very high, but high enough where they have to look a certain way for me to feel comfortable with approaching and showing interest in them. I approach tons of women who have been on different spectrums of the looks category. I had lowered my standards and have approached unattractive and or very plain and average looking women, as I do not see enough attractive and available women in my area. Getting rejected by women who I am not even into like that has hurt my confidence and motivation with getting women. I took friends and family's advice to lower my standards, but it sucks when women I approach and am not even into like that reject me. It stings way worse when a hot woman I approach rejects me. Also, I notice I get more scared or can't be smooth when approaching less attractive women. The interest can't be faked. Where are all the better looking women women at in the city? How can I do a numbers game and approach a bunch of women when I'm only attracted to a handful of them? What about quality game? Have you heard of this term? It is sniper game, meaning you only approach women who spark your interest in some kind of way. Face it, it's hard to run the quality numbers game when there are so many women who are not that hot where I live at. I don't like getting rejected by 4s and 3s when I'm an 8 or 9 as a guy. I can see if a woman is a 6 out of 10 and said no, but lower than that is too much for my self-esteem." All right. So, man, okay, so this is the thing, man. This is the thing, right? You said a lot in here, right? So you're saying that you want to get hot chicks. You're like, I'm a good-looking guy. I want to get the hotter girls, and I'm trying to do the numbers game, but I'm not seeing that many hot chicks. And, I'm talking to these other chicks who aren't so hot, and they're rejecting me and is making me feel a certain way and all this other stuff, right? Now, the thing is this. What you want is the hotter chicks, right? But I'm going to tell you right now that you're not going to get any of these hot girls because your confidence is low, and the reason, and also you're making these women, either the hot ones or the ones that aren't so hot, you're just making women in general affect your confidence. You understand? So before you even go to talk to some hot girl or try to get with these hot chicks, you have to work on your confidence, because you're not going to get them because of how, insecure you are right now. Because you keep saying, you said on a couple times in this email how, you would talk to the hot chicks, and then when they diss you or when they reject you, it hurts. And then you would say, oh, well, when I talk to the, unattractive girls, it will hurt because it hurts my self-esteem. So you're making all these women out here affect your self-esteem, right? So you have to get that settled first. You got to understand that you cannot let anybody affect your confidence and your self-esteem. You understand? Your self-esteem, your confidence should not be shaken by anything. You understand? You have to get that part, handled first, because if you do not, nothing's going to happen for you. You understand? And the thing is that, you're basically putting women on a pedestal. Even the quote unquote, 4s and 3s and all that other stuff, because this is what's happening. When you're trying to talk to a hot chick and you don't get with her, right? You feel bad because you wanted her. And now that she rejected you, you feel like, oh, it must be something wrong with me and I suck and all this other stuff, right? Now, when the unattractive chicks, the 4s and the 3s and all that stuff, right, reject you, you feel even worse, because you're like, this doesn't make any sense. This chick is not even that hot. And how the hell is she rejecting me? How bad am I that this chick is rejecting me? You understand? So you're putting all these women on a pedestal, either way, because, you're using them as a barometer for your confidence. And this is why it's hard for you to even get anything popping with the girls you really want, because you're making all these girls in general just affect your confidence. So again, you have to get that settled. You have to really work on your confidence. You understand? And the thing is, you were saying like, where are the hot chicks? Because you're like, I'm not seeing that many hot girls. So how do I do numbers game and how do I get a lot more quality women if I'm not, seeing the hot girls, right? So the thing is this, and I'm not exactly sure what city you're in and where you're from, you know what I mean? But the thing is, what you're going to have to do is, if you are in a spot where there's totally no hot girls around, like there's nothing going on, like let's say, I'll give you an example. In where I'm at in New York City, right? There's a couple of like clubs, bars, and places that specifically, 90% of the chicks that go there are hot. Do you understand? Like, I'm in New York City, and whoever's in New York City understands, like, certain spots. Like, if you go to an area called the Meatpacking District, and they have a lot of bars and clubs there, and the chicks who are there in those clubs in that area, in those bars in that area, 90% of them are hot. So meaning you can go into a spot, and they'll probably be like, let's say there's a big club that I go to, or a big, it's like a club / bar / hotel type of joint that I go to over there. And, the place fits maybe like 1,000 something people. You understand what I'm saying? And more than half of those people are women. So imagine you have 500-600 girls in there, and 90% of those girls are hot. You understand? So if you want to get an abundance of hot women, you have to figure out where exactly in your city or where you're at, where the hot girls are going to congregate at one place. Do you understand? Because I understand what you're talking about, where when I walk in the street, I'm in New York City even, sometimes, if I'm just going on about my business just on a regular day, like on a Tuesday or something, just, walking through the city, I might come across maybe like, I don't know, 4 or 5 really hot girls out of maybe, 1,000 that I've seen just walking around. But then when I go to a specific spot, I'll go to a spot in the Meatpacking District, or it is, in New York, I go to like some spots on Lower East Side or whatever, where, I can go into a bar or club or a certain type of event, and there'll be like 200, 300, 400 girls there. And 85 to 90% of those chicks are hot. So if you're specifically trying to do the numbers game to get all the, really, really hot chicks, you have to figure out where in your city that they have those type of girls hanging out. Or if it's not technically in your city, you got to go to a place closer or nearer where you're at. Like I have a friend he lives in Jersey, and he always comes to the city to, he comes to New York City to holler at the chicks. And I got another friend who goes back and forth from Philly to, New York, which is like maybe like an hour and a half, 2-hour ride. And he comes on the weekends to holler at the chicks in New York City, because there's more hot chicks over here than there is in where he's at in Philly. So you might have to figure out where the hotter chicks are and then bring yourself to that situation. You feel what I'm saying? And the thing is, at the end of the day, you're only going to successfully be able to, get these chicks when you work on your confidence. And the thing is, you can still use the chicks that you're not that attracted to as practice, just talking. You understand? You don't really got to get with them. You don't have to lower your standards to get with these girls that you're not really attracted to, but you can use them as practice with your verbal skills. Use the girls that you're not really that attracted to just to talk and have conversations. You understand? Because no matter if a girl is hot or not, she's still a woman, and she's still gonna, generally act how women act. You understand? So you're still getting practice talking, to women. You understand? So you don't have to necessarily close the deal with the girls you're not feeling, but still, communicate, converse with them, flirt with them or whatever, just so that you can get that practice in. You understand? And the thing is, you have to stop putting, too much value on these chicks. You understand? See, the thing is, you're looking at it like, oh, this girl who's hot is special, and this other girl who's not so hot, she's not really that special. So you're putting the hot girl on a higher pedestal than the girl who's not so hot, right? Now you can put them, you can see them as more valuable in your eyes as far as you choosing to actually deal with the girl, meaning you're going to say, well, I'm going to actually try to deal with the hotter one versus the one who's not so hot if I'm actually trying to make something happen. But when you approach the women, when you approach all these girls, you have to approach all of them the same. So that means if you see a 10, you got to approach the 10 the same way you will approach the 2. You got to approach the 2 the same way you're going to approach the 10. You can't, and all of them should be approached as like, you know, on some regular type of shit. You understand what I'm saying? It shouldn't be approached like, oh my goodness, woman, you're so sexy and awesome and you're the best thing that ever has happened in my life. And now I have to, you know, come up with something awesome to say because I must have you because you're so special and I need you in my life. No, you just approach them like you would approach anybody else, approach any other girl, and you keep it the same type of way. You understand? I had a video years ago when I was talking about, you know, how to get hotter women. And I was basically saying that all you need to do is approach every woman the same and be neutral with it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Meaning that you're not giving any extra special attention to a girl because she's hot, or you understand, or she's hotter than this girl, because then that, what that does is that basically gets you out of your zone, basically gets you out of, being cool, calm, and collected when you're talking to the girl, which is going to be the thing that's going to attract her. You understand? Because you're going to have a whole bunch of other guys who are going to be putting her on a pedestal, who's going to be sweating her, who's going to be trying to buy her drinks, who's going to be doing all this other stuff. And, you know, when you approach her, you don't want to approach her technically like those guys. Do you understand what I'm saying? You want to approach her like how you would approach anybody else, and you want to get yourself used to approaching women in the same format, because what you don't want to happen is that there's going to be a really hot girl that you want, and then what happens is that if you're not used to approaching women in the same way, when you see that hot girl you want, you're going to start acting different, and then by you acting different, you're going to most likely be acting like, oh, I'm sweating her, I need her, I want her, all that neediness is going to come out, and then that's how you're going to lose her. Do you understand? That's how it's not going to, you're not going to really get that connection going, because you are not really, used to talking to a girl as hot as she is. And then since you're not used to doing that, then you're going to fuck the whole shit up. You understand what I'm saying? This is why you got to get yourself used to just talking to women in general. This is what I'm saying. Talk to the ones that aren't that attractive. Talk to the attractive ones, but treat them the same. Do not treat any of them any special or any more or better than the next. You understand? Because once you talk to that or approach that hot girl, she's going to feel the energy of you just being cool and chill. And that's going to be the thing that's going to attract her, because now you're going to stand out from all the other guys who don't know this information. All the other guys who are going to think, oh, she's a 10. I got to do this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? Or, oh, she's a 5. Let me do this, this, and this. No, treat them all the goddamn same. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is what's going to make the girls gravitate to you. You understand? But when you're talking about, you lowering your standards, or you feeling like, you can't get a certain girl or whatever, or it's, it's not an abundance of hot chicks. You understand? You got to go where the hot chicks are. You got to figure out where they are so you can have more choices. And still talk to every girl that you're talking to, just to get the practice. Talk to the ones you're not really feeling. But again, like I was saying before, you really need to work on your confidence. You understand? You have to understand what confidence is. You have to understand what your self-esteem is. If you think that some girl is making you feel a certain way, then you don't understand confidence. You understand? If you say, oh, well, these girls who are 4s and 3s and 5s, they make me feel bad when they reject me, it's because you don't understand confidence. When you say, oh, this hot girl, it makes me feel even worse when the hot girl rejects me, versus the ugly girl or whatever, you don't understand confidence. Do you understand what I'm saying? Your confidence does not change. It's not supposed to change. It's supposed to be the same way no matter what happens. Do you understand? No matter what happens, it stays how it is. It stays up there. You understand? Your self-esteem stays high. You understand? You're at a 10 before you talk to the girl. You're at a 10 while you're talking to the girl. And you're at a 10 after you talk to the girl, no matter what happens. You feel me? And this is why, guys, you need to go to badboymembership.com, and I have an audio program called 10 Ways to Build Your Confidence. You can listen to that right now. Go to badboymembership.com. I also got an audio program called How to Work on Your Inner Game, how to improve your inner game, actually. You understand? And that is also on the Bad Boy membership. And it tells you exactly what you need to do to be confident. Because a lot of guys, when you say confidence, it sounds abstract. It sounds like, I actually heard a video where some guy was talking about, oh, confidence is bullshit and it doesn't make sense and it's confidence is a scam. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I'm like, dude, confidence. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you guys something. If you are confident in yourself and believe that you can get a lot of chicks and you can get hot girls and all this other stuff, right? That's basically, most of what you need to know. You understand? That's most of what you need to get handled. If you get that handled, right? If you get your confidence handled, if you actually are confident, right there is basically like a big percentage of the game. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the confident guy will keep going no matter what. The guy who lets some girl or something or what some girl said, shake his confidence, he's going to be the one that's losing out. You understand? So you got to understand how important it is to work on your confidence, because that's going to eliminate a lot of the problems you're having. You understand what I'm saying? That's what's going to get you those hot chicks you want. That's what's going to not make you feel bad and all this other stuff when these, goofy chicks is on some bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you got to get that stuff handled. You feel me? So that's pretty much it, guys. If you have any questions, make sure you click the link below. Again, go to badboymembership.com so you can get the audio program, 10 Ways to Build Your Confidence, and also get how to improve your inner game. So all of that will help you with confidence. And also, if you get How to Have Sex with Two Women a Day, the ebook, it also comes with 2 audio programs. And one of the audio programs is called The Confidence Booster. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that is another, audio program that will help you with your confidence. You understand? I got a lot of stuff dealing with confidence because it's so important. Do you understand? So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm out of here. And remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. All right, now before you click off this video, I need you to do 3 quick things. First, I need you to click the link below to send me your questions, because if you have any questions, I'll answer them in a video. 2, click the link under that to get my free ebook, The Magnificent 10 Crucial Dating Tips for Men. It gives you 10 tips on how to attract beautiful women. And number 3, I want you to click the link under that to go to badboymembership.com, where you get 45 through 90-minute audio and video tutorials every month. Hey, what's up? It's dating and life coach Mr. Locario. Go to badboymembership.com and master the dating game by joining my Bad Boy membership program. In this program, you'll receive 45 through 90-minute, easy-to-follow, step-by-step dating advice tutorials that's guaranteed to help you attract, date, and have sex with beautiful women. Join the Bad Boy membership today by going to badboymembership.com. That's badboymembership.com.